Chris Jones, the Chiefs defensive lineman, a key part of that team, a guy that they need to keep around, a guy that it looked like maybe they would not get a long-term deal done with, a guy who was making noise about sitting out the entire season. None of that will happen because a long-term deal is in place. A 4-year deal, contrast with the 12-year contract that Patrick Mahomes signed last week. 4 years, $80 million. That's $20 million per year. I'm told it's the same basic structure as the Mahomes deals with functional guarantees that make it harder to cut him. Here's the cash flow as I understand it: $16.126 million in year 1, $21.5 million in year 2, $22.374 million in year 3, and $20 million in year 4. Of that amount, $55.75 million fully guaranteed at signing, and then that's roughly 70% of the deal, likewise being fully guaranteed by the second year of the contract. So, look, this guy's good enough. They're not going to let him go. He got a 4-year deal. It's always smart to do a shorter term and get back to the table, because by the time you get to year 3, 4, 5, anyway, of a long-term deal, if the team isn't happy with how you're performing, they're going to tear it up. They're going to squeeze you to take less. They're only going to keep that deal going if they think it's a good deal for them, because it's a one-way contract after you get past those first few years. Mahomes has decided to commit for 12. Jones commits for 4. No guarantees. Still going to be a superstar in 4 years. But again, if he wasn't a superstar in 4 years and he signed for longer than that, they would just rip the deal up and move on. So good news for the Chiefs. They're holding it all together. Jones goes on to Twitter and says the Chiefs are building a dynasty, and that kind of reminds me of the Vince Young Dream Team remarks from 9 years ago. Look, you're already going to be the hunted. You're already going to be a team that everyone is trying to knock off, and you learned last year how hard it is to ultimately win the whole thing. The Chiefs needed to come from behind in every one of their playoff wins. Double-digit come from behind in every one of their postseason wins, including in the Super Bowl down 10 points with 7 minutes left in the game. So be careful, because it is still difficult, even with the greatest quarterback in the NFL and even with a tremendous defensive lineman like Chris Jones. It is still incredibly difficult to win a Super Bowl championship. And in most cases, you give me the defending champion or the field, I'm taking the field. And this year, I'm definitely taking the field, because there's too much craziness going on in the NFL to feel good about anybody being able to solve whatever it is that the NFL is going to have thrown at it, between the normal uncertainty that any team faces and the extra layer of uncertainty arising from the pandemic.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.